Good evening, this is Venomancer, tanking for Dummies. We'll discuss a few things, just the basics, talent trees. Well, how to set up your bars, how to move certain parts of your character panel so it becomes more visible, more central. Weak auras, there are not that many. This is for dummies. This is just if you started a Venomancer or any tank really, you don't know what to do with all the abilities you've been given. You don't know how to properly set it up. People are telling to use LVUI, which is a really great add-on, but it's kind of difficult to understand. And Bartender is just, again, it's super simple and you don't want to spend too much time in all the technical bits. Now, first things first is if you click on it with your left button, you can move your bars. Right button, you open the menu. Profiles, you can, well, pick an existing profile, copy it to another character, pretty much the same thing. You might want to disable certain bars or just, yeah, kind of figure out what is important, make it neat. I think Bartender automatically disables the Blizzard UI. Now, first things first, there are some bars which are also in your LVUI, they are disabled. If you enable them, they will probably pop up in the center of your screen. Amount of buttons, very simple. Amount of rows, create it vertically, also very straightforward. The big thing with Venomancer is that you have multiple buttons for multiple specs, and you have only that many keybinds. And for example, in my human form, I have on C beetle form and on Z spider form. But those are different keybinds. If you are a beetle form, you have different abilities that you want to reserve for those. So if I switch now into beetle form, you can see that my bar 8 is underneath here. So if I disable my bar 8, it still is up here. How does this happen? How come that those keybinds are now reserved for the beetle form, and when I go to spider form, it has different keybinds as well? It's a super simple trick. Left click on Bartender 4, you can see the bar number that you're playing with. This is bar 3. You will open up in general settings, but we go to state configuration. We enable use custom conditions. Form 1, which is if we go to the stance bar, let me just show you. It's a bit odd, I guess, but the game reads it as stance 1. Oh, no, sorry, I'm lying. Okay, so form 1 is spider form, attributed to bar 7. So now if I go to spider form, it pops up bar number 7. And how do you know this? Because they are the same, as you can see. This is bar 7, and it then pops bar 7 down there. We're going to disable this again. And if I go to beetle form, form 2, beetle form, bar 8 will go into bar 3. Just to confirm, bar 8 goes into bar 3. So it's a super simple macro. You can do that for anything else. I have done the same with my bar 1. Form 1, spider form, bar 9, form 2, bar 10. And these are just empty bars basically, but that you then fill up with beetle form abilities. Okay, that is pretty much Bartender done. I would recommend to just make it neat, right? You do not want to clutter your screen. Oh, another thing, buff bar. So I have a buff bar, which is bar 6. Visibility, fade out. Which means that if I'm in a dungeon and I'm doing my thing, I will not be hindered by it. But if I want to buff, all I have to do is mouse over, apply the 2 buffs, determine which 30-minute buff I want, and then move out again, and then it disappears. So you will not be distracted by it. Fade out option, invisibility. Alright, that is that. Let me disable the stance bar again. That's bartender done. Next one is an add-on downloaded from the Ascension itinerary. It is called Move Anything. Oh, fuck all. I should have done that. I should not have done that. You probably want to fast forward 20 seconds. Alright, there we go. Usually it goes faster, but because it's recording, it goes a bit difficult. Anyway, we're with Move Anything. Slash in the text bar, move. Move anything. The 2 important things really are your player, central left, I is the up and down, X is left and right, so this is this one. But you just play with it, right? You can type in, for example, 450, it goes more central. Because X0, this is where it started, because it's central left. And if you type in 450, it moves to the right. If you type in 250, it moves to the left. It's gonna do it to your preference. Again, you want everything centrated around your character without filling up, where your eyes are focused, which is the center of your screen. So you done the player, now you do the target, which is this one. Again, target. Everything moves with it. You don't have to do the buffs, even though there's buffs here as well. You don't have to. It moves automatically with it. Next, we go to miscellaneous for your cast bar. I moved it underneath here, just because I like it that way. Make a nice UI. Make it small. When you're in a raid, you get a lot of buffs. Interface, buffs and debuffs, consolidate buffs. We'll make it nice and neat as well. You don't clutter your screen as much. I like to see it. But when I'm in a raid, I will consolidate. While you are fighting bosses, sometimes they use spells and it's very difficult to see because it's a tornado or some lightning and you just don't know where it lands. In order to circumvent this, you go to let me escape, interface, combat, area of effect indicators, enemy spells. You enable it. This causes a large red circle to show where the spell is landing. It's almost cheating, but it will just have to do. Next, weak auras. Carapace exposed. Just I like to keep track of these 2 buffs. I'm gonna make one with you, so you can apply the same logic with everything else. You go and start a group. It will be like this. But in that group, we want a... Oh God, how do we do this? You start it up. I don't know, it should be weird. Oh, there you go. Okay. So you create a group. I'm not doing it right now because I'm going to make one in this group. Once you've created a group, you click on New Aura, and we're going to make an icon. All right. Usually they will be in the center of your screen, but you just click on it and you move it. It's that simple. I would like to track a certain buff. The regrowth exoskeleton. We use it. It's called regrow exoskeleton. It's 803197. 803197. This, by the way, to read the spell ideas, it's called spell ID. You can find it on GitHub. That way you can do it. You don't have to, but just kind of to be a little bit more accurate. Okay, trigger. That's the first thing we start. You can either do rename, so in this case, regrow exoskeleton, and it says player spells found, and there you get the spell idea. That's another option to do it, because the game prefers specifics as well. So in this case, we go to exact spell ID, we type in the spell ID, click on OK. It recognizes the buff. Now it is in here. It is an here you have different options, so you can, but generally it's always aura. If you go any further, it's no longer for dummies. It's getting complicated. It's an aura on the player, not on the target, for example, and it's a buff. Whereas if you go for exposed, that's debuff. So you just change it, same thing. It's a buff. Now, whenever I use the ability, it will recognize it. You can test it. There. See? Okay, but this is kind of ugly. We don't really like it. So we're gonna go to display. Progress and setting, we unfold, and position and size. This is part of my cooldowns, whereas this is almost in perpetuity. Carapace stays as long as you have rage, and exposed stays as long as you get hit. So I don't want it in this row. I want it a little bit up. And we can do that by X is horizontal, Y is vertical. We are going 50. Now, if we want to see everything together, it's too small. These are 55, 55. So we're first making the size unisync. And that means that if the size is 55, what is the distance we have here? Here we have 60. So we're going to then make the distance 60. It's still a little bit meh. So I am going to make the distance 75. Nope. Sorry to be a little bit autistic about this. Yeah, this is better, 65. Okay. So, with distance. Next, I want to... oh yeah. Where can I progress? Nope. Position and size. Let me have a look. There should be. Okay, text 1. Percentage S means stacks. So whenever I use it, 60 is the text size. Let's see, I want it 35. And I want it, instead of inner, bottom, right, I want it center. And instead of a stack, which means S, I want to see the timer, which is progress, if I'm correct. Oh, here, percentage P. Well, it's this one, P. So, if I now click it, there you go, the timer. Wonderful. That's pretty much how you set it up. It's super simple. Again, this is nothing too complicated. I want to keep it straight and to the point. But here comes the thing. Whenever I use a cooldown and I want to follow it up with another cooldown, I now have to make another one. So this is your group. Go to new aura, icon, and I think there are ways to copy it. I should probably figure that one out, like something like duplicate. And instead of that, we're gonna call it lifeblood. It's easier this way. And trigger is going to be lifeblood then, which is 804963. That's pretty much it. That's literally how fast it goes. So we're using exoskeleton, we're fighting the boss, blah 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 blah, and it's running out, lifeblood. Now, harden is stacks. So if we use harden, you can see it's longer there, and it stacks. So we go weak aura, beetle, we go, just rename this real quick to exoskeleton. And we duplicate, harden, trigger changes to and display text. Instead of P, which is progress, we go to stacks. All right. That is weak auras done. Now let's go to about the bars real quick, about the keybinds. You kind of want to keep a system for you that works with every single champion. So interrupts, movement, defensives, like the typical, this type of ability is going to be on this button that either I'm used to or that is as convenient for me as possible. Now, if you place your hands on the keyboard and start moving, you basically have always the same WADS. And S is again for the casuals to it that can backpedal, but I like it. I will never change my S. QE for strafe. You can always replace Q and E or A and E with buttons you actually use, but I prefer them, so I keep them. Now, my mouse over ones. These are my two side buttons. taunt, and interrupt. Then this is my mouse wheel forward and mouse wheel backward. Mouse wheel forward is charge, always, and mouse wheel backward is interrupt, always. I think those are the two most important. Because you're, like anything on your mouse, you are extraordinarily fast. This is your quickest response time. Put on your most important abilities there. Defensives, most used defensive are T is a little bit further away. I have it on disarm because there's so many of them, but like less important put on T. So R is defensive, F is a defensive, and then Z, X, and C is kind of like dealer's choice. Z, I have another defensive because Beetle has apparently way too many. So F is a defensive. Ooh. It 80 or 960. There's something wrong there. 800 960. It's interesting how that's wrong. Okay, doesn't matter. That should work now, but we'll test it in 3 minutes. So yeah, I have the carpet region on X. You use it quite a bit. And then let's see, G is to, if ever I want to completely regen all my rage, it's G. But yeah. Macros, that's something you probably are curious at. With Bartender, the problem is if you swap specs. So if I decide I want to be a healer and I swap to a healer, the abilities that are class specific, so the abilities that I learn in Fortitude, will not transfer with. They will disappear. So the next time I switch back to Fortitude, I have to reapply them into my Bartender, which is annoying. You can avoid this by using macros. So all you have to do is Beetle specific macro. Impale is a Impale tank specific one. So therefore I have Impale as a macro. If you want to show the tooltip as well for macros, I can't do that. You just do brackets, I think you call it. No, not brackets. Well, you know the signal. It's Shift 3. Show tooltip, and that should be enough. You don't even have to write the name, but you can also write Impale afterward, but you don't have to. Now it shows the tooltip. If you like that thing. I don't particularly because it's distracting and it hovers over my details. Thread wise, just details, tiny thread. It speaks for itself. I don't have to really go over that one. It just adds a different option. I believe here on the left it says tiny thread. You click on it and then it keeps an eye on everybody's thread. So yeah, macros, just do it for every ability that's class specific. And that way, whenever I swap now to my healer spec, the bars completely reset. Have the book there as well, because otherwise you do not learn the abilities and everything stays at rank 1. And then you can see now Myotoxin is on this one. Even if I go into, well, I don't even have beetle form on my bar on this one. This is, I should. But as you can see, beetle form is completely empty on this one. I haven't really gotten to it yet. Still quite a bit to learn, quite a bit to do. But we switch back to tank, and everything will have reset with it. No, the server crash. Okay, good. As you can see, stuff is now rank 1. Wait, no, this is weird. I think it went with it. I don't. Oh well. Maybe just a visual bug, but I always summon a book. Especially with the healing, it's kind of odd how it works. Anyway, macros, just very simple. 2 macros that are requiring a little bit more attention is the Impale one. I also cast Myatoxin because Impale is not on the global cooldown. What does that mean? If I use, for example, Venom Tip Poison, you can see a global cooldown starts. But if I use Impale, and just let me get on this on cooldown. If I use Impale, no global cooldown starts. So therefore, I add another ability to it. I have Myatoxin. It's not as efficient because it's very niche, but again, it just do it as you will, whether you do Carpus Crash with it or something else. It's irrelevant. It's just if something is not part of the global cooldown, add another ability into the macro. Same goes for Shit and Rush. So I have Shit and Rush and then Focus Swarm, which right now is not there, or Locust Swarm, right? Yeah, Locust Swarm. I'm currently in a different talent, but that's Locust Swarm. So technically, when I would use Shit and Rush, then Locust Swarm would also be used. Alright. Because I'm pretty certain. Yeah, okay, so it's on a different global cooldown. It's on the Impale global cooldown. Anyway. Macros, is there anything else for you to know? Not really. Just typical macros. Nothing special. It's just so that it stays on your bar if you switch specs. Talent trees. I'm not a fan of the Deadly Sting. I think it's a little bit too. It takes a bit to set up with a low proc rate. And therefore, even though threat is an issue and is going to be an issue in the future, I think there should be better ways to deal with that than to take this talent. Explosion damage, really not that strong. So, like, explosion is 196. It's not bad, but it's just not that strong. So you can skip that point. If you are in a raid, you're going to go down the center. If you're not, you will just take these two. Solo, this is a little bit better. Nice, but meh. Again, also nice. There's just so many great options. I prefer this one. I can go over the whole thing, but I don't think anyone's really that interested in it. Yeah. Just kind of copy the tree, test it out, see if something works. The server has been online now for 2 weeks. Stuff is gonna change. Stuff is going to get nerfed. Figure it out. This is a good start. Read your abilities, see what they do. That's pretty much all I can say. I'm gonna show it a little bit in action because we've had a lot of talking right now. So I will see you in a minute. Real quick, while we're at it, I'm gonna show you some of my gear. it is again very like rudimentary. We want as much health as possible. A lot of the scaling we do is with stats. We get health from intellect, agility, and stamina. You want to stack health. Every time we do anything with exoskeleton, we get health in return from that. Even in raids, you are gonna get smacked. But as long as you have a health bar, a cultist will heal you up. So you will be completely fine as long as you stack health. Now, there are some like great weapons, absolutely phenomenal. It adds almost 4% to dodge, bonkers. But I do prefer some damage. And again, we scale a lot. Almost all our damage is nature, so spell power is going to be it. We do have, like I think here, spell damage from attack power, 30%. But it's like, okay, I get it, great, will help us scale better with agility. But there is no agility weapon in the game right now that is going to give 57 times like what? 57 is 0.3, then 1. Like, there's just no weapon that's going to give that amount of spell power. In other words, kind of play around with it a little bit. Stats is the way to go. It's always going to be the way to go. And the further we get into the game, the better. I'm 3 on the blood mill, 3 on the tenacity. We do not need expertise because of reinforced. Spider in beta form cannot be dodged or parried. Hit is pretty important, but that's about it. Okay, anyway, a little bit of action. If I die, I'm still gonna post it. Please roast me in the comments if anyone is gonna watch this. I won't go on for too long. You kind of get the gist. A little bit of the spell rotation, general shtick. Alright, without further ado. We get 3 Carpus regen. We let it stack as high as possible. Now we pop Harden. Not Harden, what? Why did that? Interesting. I wonder why it didn't go. I thought I popped regrowth exoskeleton and then I saw the stacks disappear. I will have to watch the video what exactly happened. Anyway, after regrow, when it disappears, you use lifeblood, and a harden is kind of like an emergency type of stuff. When everything hits the fan, and that's when you use harden. You interrupt that, so you don't have to deal with bats. The casters are the biggest problem. Once you kill them, you can move on. The main ability you use is Carpus Crush, and you can pull with Venom Tip or Taunt. On 10 stacks, you use Expulsion. Might have used that, and that's what removed it the first time. Okay, we're gonna get. Yeah, I definitely did. They kind of take it group by group, and like later on in MC, you get certain weapons that will make it just easier to deal with. Expulsion, best with a hyper optimized way is to use it at 6 stacks. That's when the dot will fall off, and then at the same time you can reapply it again. I'm gonna LOS. I can power shift, but it also means I'm losing the Carper's regen, so that's why I'm not. This is the best part of the the beetle, is that you can headbutt into walls and do a ton of damage outside of your global cooldown. It's okay. So here is going to be like one of the typical. Everything is hitting us. We activate regrowth. Get the camera angle properly. We can even use some trinkets, which you can also macro together, especially berserking and a trinket. I just haven't. We impale, even though it's a little bit of an overkill. Yeah. I don't pull bosses. It takes too long for me to kill them, and it's just not worth it. You get a lot of these potions, so I'm just gonna pop one. Now I have my Chandra's Lair of cooldown again, so I'm gonna pop it. That brings everybody in. Gotta pull those. Regrowth is not there. Unfortunately, not yet. Kind of have to keep a better way to track if it's still on cooldown. Maybe you can add that into the weak aura, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it takes a second to just move your eyes and check it out. That's a bit of an overkill. So, just oh, now we're going to interrupt that. Regrowth, interrupt. You can the most hyper optimized way would just to wait with interrupt until regrowth falls off. But again, we're not doing this for, you know, perfect gameplay. We're doing it. I can farm. I can have a decent way to make some gold. Everybody's happy. So now 6 stacks. We do expulsion and look at the debuff expulsion, and it's gonna fall off right about. Oh, I can use expulsion again, and there you go. So even before 6 stacks, using expulsion is completely fine, and then at that point you're just gonna run into a cooldown. Go just LOS. Garbage Crash falls off, so we apply 2 stacks. We don't need more. We interrupt. With them interrupted, no need to harden. I keep calling it harden, but I mean regrowth exoskeleton. Harden really is like, it's a great healing tool if you're having problems. Oh, before I go there, there you can sell, so you can get rid of all your garbage. So yeah, harden is your big oh shit, help, I'm in problems, I have a problem. It's even beneficial because harden disappears so quickly. It's beneficial to do lifeblood with harden. Like, this is going to be one of those moments. So we're going to go through here. We're jumping, so we continue in the right direction. Now we have 10 sticks. I'm going to let them come closer for a second. We're going to pop trinket, pop harden. We're not interrupting yet. While we spam Carper's Crash, we're also shitting rush into the group. We're having many stacks. Now we are interrupting or stunning with impale because it fell off. We heal up a little bit. Now imagine your life is very low. I'm using both Chandra, which is the 10-second one, and harden. And you can see how quickly harden falls off because it is per hit, but you heal an obscene amount. Anyway, that's all for now. The rest speaks for itself. I do these runs in like about 12 minutes. Decent gold. That talk out.